uploaded in the handouts the webinar slides. So if you guys want to download these slides, save them for later, there's some really good information that Paul is going to share specifically about SEMrush and how you do things, and there's a lot of information. So I think the slides will help you guys kind of walk through it after the webinar is over. So feel free to download that handout. And it is 1 p.m. So are you ready to roll, Paul?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's do this.
Awesome.
So everyone, welcome to SEO 101, Keyword Research and Implementation. And this is a really big subject, and there's lots of information in this webinar, zero fluff. So if you have questions, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Afterward, I am always available via email. I'm sure Paul will tell you the same thing. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But without further ado, let's get right on into it. So I am Carrie Phillips. I am the owner of the Content Factory. I've been in the SEO industry for over a decade. Hope that doesn't date me too much. And my agency, the Content Factory, drives millions of dollars worth of organic traffic annually to our clients' websites. And we represent brands ranging from Astroglide to Zane Benefits, with a lot of different tech companies in between. And the strategies and tactics that you're going to learn in this webinar are effective no matter what industry you're in. So if you're an agency or if you're a freelancer who represents other companies, you're going to be able to take this information and apply it across all of your clients. And if you're a small business owner, you're going to be able to take this and apply it to your business and your website as well. I am joined by Paul Klebanov. He is the marketing educator at SEMrush, and Paul has built several multi-million-dollar websites before the age of 30. And he now helps businesses succeed with his knowledge of inbound marketing. So Paul, thank you and welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited and I can't wait.
Well, let's dive right into it. So what is a keyword? Simply put, a keyword is a search query that you type into the Google search box, and that is your keyword. What is SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. It is the strategy of getting your website to rank on that first page of the search engine results pages, the SERPs. And ideally, you want to be in positions 1 through 3, and we'll get into exactly how much traffic is generated or what percentage of clicks go to each of the spots in a bit. But the idea is you want people to be able to find you without knowing who you are, especially if you're a small business and you're just getting started. You might have bigger competitors in the area that have that name recognition. And if you don't have that, search engine optimization is a great way around it. What is keyword research? This is how it starts. So the first step to any SEO strategy or process is keyword research. And it's really important that you get this foundational layer right, because if you don't research the right keywords, you're never going to have the results that you otherwise would and should and are looking to get. So keyword research is the method of identifying the best keywords to help you generate organic traffic to your website, increase conversions, and create tangible ROI for your business. And across the board, there are a couple of outlier clients where, maybe social media or PR drives the most ROI. But in my experience, and Paul, maybe you've had this experience too, SEO generates the highest and most consistent ROI for our clients, typically speaking. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, I find that as well. And you stay in the ranks for a really long period of time, especially if you do things right.
Yes. So here we are. Let's talk about organic versus paid traffic. So organic traffic is free traffic that comes to your website. People type in a query into Google. The search engine results pages come up, and then they click on an option. That traffic is free once you do the work. Paid traffic, so or paid traffic, PPC, that's like AdWords. That's you buy a keyword, and whenever somebody clicks on your ad, you get charged by the click for that. So organic traffic is not like advertising, and then it sticks around for a long time. And when I first came out of college, I worked in the advertising industry, and one thing that I consistently struggled with was once the ad spend's gone, it's gone. And if you don't get the results that you're looking for, if you don't get any sales at all out of that ad campaign, the money is spent. You're not going to generate any results beyond the campaign, and you're kind of like stuck, right? With SEO, the results keep coming. So I have some blog posts that generate, 10,000 clicks a month for TCF, and they've done that for a long time. And in fact, we tend to get more clicks the older the blog post gets, because you get more social shares and it starts to rank higher, and then you revise the content and all of that stuff. So organic traffic is what we're focusing on for this webinar. And we're going to show you how to do that. So this is a snapshot from SEMrush of what the Content Factory's website looks like in terms of the cost of our traffic. So per month, we get a little over $38,000, the CPC value of our website traffic. And this is an example of, actually, let me go back one. So you can see where we really started with our keyword strategy and implementation. We started around January 13th, and we got serious about it January 14th and January of 14, and it takes a long time for you to really start seeing consistent results. So to be clear, SEO is not a quick game. If you're looking to get results next week, advertising is the way to go. SEO is not. If you're looking for long-term sustainable traffic to your website, SEO is the way to go. And like I said, it's a long game, and you're going to be doing this for a long time in order to see the results that you need. You're going to need to produce a lot of content. First step for that is the keyword research. And so here's the snapshot of what we were able to do with Astroglide in 2 years. So this is this is a diagram that SEMrush will spit out, and I love this. This is one of my favorite features of SEMrush. And the reason why is because it's a really great visual representation of how many keywords you rank for relative to your competition and where those keyword overlaps are. So you can see that with I would call it moderately aggressive blog strategy for Astroglide, we were able to drastically increase the amount of keywords that they rank for, increase their positions, and really eclipse the competition in terms of how many keywords and how much organic traffic is being delivered to the client site. So using the steps and processes that we outline in this webinar, you can do the same thing for your website as well. So what makes for a good keyword? Long tail keywords are where it's at. And the reason why is because you're going to be able to rank for them faster, and you're going to be able to get more targeted with long tail keywords than you would with short tail keywords. So for example, social media versus the cost of social media marketing. Social media is not a good keyword for an agency like mine. Why? Because we're probably not going to be able to rank on the top spot for social media anyway, right? And even if we were able to rank for that, the traffic that came probably wouldn't be very targeted, and it wouldn't be optimized for conversion. Whereas cost of social media marketing is a really great keyword for an agency like mine, because if somebody's searching for the cost of social media, they're in the research phase before making a purchase. And if you can insert yourself into that research process and introduce your company and demonstrate your expertise by answering questions that your target audience might have, that's where the conversions come through, and that's how you get people into your sales funnel, and that's how you keep them engaged throughout the process. So long tail keywords don't get as much search volume. The search volume for long tail keywords is lower, but it's more targeted and therefore worth your time. There are 3 types of keywords: transactional, informational, and navigational. Transactional keywords are like the cost of social media marketing, or best red Nike men's high top basketball shoes. Long tail transactional keywords are search queries made by people who are looking to buy a product or service. And so when somebody's looking to make a purchase, if you have something for sale that they might want, that's where you want to insert yourself into that process. And transactional keywords are a great way to do that. Because they're so primed for conversion, transactional keywords are usually more competitive than other types of keywords. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense, because everyone wants to rank for the keywords that are going to be most likely to convert. The trick is to find transactional keywords with lower competition, and we're going to have more on that later. Informational keywords are used by people who are looking to gain more information. So that's like your classic how-to post, or X things you must know about Y subject. Those are informational keywords, and they can help you establish your brand as being an expert in the industry, or yourself as being an expert in your industry. And they can sometimes convert well, but they're not going to convert as well as your transactional keywords. Finally, you've got navigational keywords. And usually these have a brand name in them. So if somebody's looking for the content factory, they already know what they're looking for. And I just need to make sure that my website ranks #1 for the content factory so there's no confusion. It's really important that you rank for your own navigational keywords, but you should be ranking for those anyway, just by virtue of the fact that you're going to have your brand all over your website anyway, hopefully. So Google's going to pick up on that. Now, there are 3 important keyword metrics. So these are the things that you want to look at when identifying, is a keyword worth going after? The first one, search volume. How many people are searching for this monthly? Number 2, CPC. What is the cost per click value of that keyword? And number 3, competition.
Gary, if I may, I just
Yes.
want to interrupt you. I have a really great example for the past slide for CPC. So in the past, when I had my e-commerce websites, I had a few e-commerce websites, and part of my keyword research was determining which manufacturers, which brands were getting the most volume, because if they were seeked out the most, then when I compiled the list of brands that I need to make accounts with so I could load up on inventory and sell those products to my customers, volume is a very important number. So I came across this brand, and the thing that I didn't pay attention to was that that manufacturer specifically had a really low cost per click, and I didn't really question it. And so what I did was I called the manufacturer, I made an account, I started buying inventory, and then when I was ready to run my campaigns, I ran the campaigns, and then customers started buying that product. And what I realized was that this product was unshippable because the quality of the product, when it was actually, by the time it was delivered and shipped to the customer, it was broken, because it's not a really good piece of furniture to ship. And so what I discovered is that if you look at a search term with really low CPC, that would give you insight, even though it has a lot of search volume. Why does it have low CPC? Why aren't people bidding on that keyword? Again, Google is based on a supply and demand system. So if you see low CPC, it probably means that other competitors of yours are having a difficult time converting it, or they're unwilling to target that keyword or carry that product. So I think looking at the two in relation is of the utmost importance, and everyone should definitely do that.
Absolutely. So if you find that the cost per click value as you're doing your research seems unnaturally low for the type of keyword that you're targeting, there's probably a reason for it, and it's worth doing some research before you buy a bunch of inventory that is going to result in a lot of returns.
I learned the hard way.
Please don't learn that the hard way if you can avoid it. So the next, I guess, factor is how competitive is that keyword? And so how difficult is it going to be for you to rank for a keyword? And there are a variety of factors that you need to look at. For example, the domain authority of your website. So if you have a website with a ton of content that already ranks really well for, a variety of keywords in your industry, new content that you produce is going to rank faster than it would if you had a brand new baby website that didn't have good domain authority, not very many backlinks, and you're starting from scratch. So that's important to keep in mind. Again, SEO, I can't underscore this enough, is a really long-term play. So if you do have a brand new baby website, now is a great time to start investing in your website content, investing in your SEO, and putting in the time to make sure that that foundational layer is down solid and that you can build on it with your content. So what kind of content is currently ranking on the first page of those SERPs? That's a question you need to ask yourself, and the best way to do it is to open up a Google Incognito window. You want to open it up in incognito so that your past search history and your location is not impacting the results that's shown to you. And click on those links. Look at how long the content is. Is it good content? Can you do better? Can you out-engineer that content and then take that person's ranking? And if you can, then the best way to do that, according to Moz, is to 10x that content. So you have to create content that is 10 times better than currently ranks in the top spot in order to steal that ranking. So how to 10x your content? It's got to be longer. It's got to be more informative. It has to have all of the contextual keywords in it that the search crawlers are looking to see. You've got to link to valuable resources, right? Are you linking to high quality sites, or are you linking to low quality websites? Because that's going to impact your ranking. Do you quote experts in your content? I recommend that you do, because it's a great way to bake in content marketing into your copy. So for example, if you send out a HeyRo query, or if you reach out to experts in the industry via Twitter or however you want to do it, and you get, say, 5 thought leaders in the industry to provide quotes for your blog post. Once that blog post goes live, you can email these people and they'll help you promote it. They're going to share it on Twitter and Facebook because they're featured in the post as well. In most cases, they do, at least, right? So there are certain tricks that you can do that are going to help you to 10x that content. And interviewing experts, creating longer and more informative content is the best way to do that. Competition. 91.5% of search traffic goes to websites that rank on the first SERP. There's an SEO joke that says, what's the best place to hide a dead body? And the answer is on the 3rd page of Google search results, because nobody ever makes it that far. And 61.5% of all of the clicks are going to go to the top 3 results. So it's really important that you're ranking in 1, 2, or 3. And if you're ranking number 1, you're getting about 1/3 of all of the search traffic. So unless you can rank in the top 10 results, you're not going to get much search traffic. So if you are looking at the content that currently ranks on the first page and you're thinking, I don't think that my website has the domain authority, I don't think I'm going to be able to 10x that Wikipedia page, it might be, not might be, it's a good idea to pick a different keyword that you can get some real traction with. So Paul here is going to show you how to do keyword research manually, which is the hard way and you shouldn't do it. Just in case, just in case he's going to show you how to do it. But SEMrush is a tool that I use every single day. My entire writing staff uses it every single day. It's robust, amazing, and it's free for the next 30 days. And I'm going to give you a link at the end of the webinar so you can check out SEMrush and see everything that it does. But this is the point in the webinar where Paul takes over. So Paul, I will change presenter to you, and I'll let you take over.
Awesome. So right now I'm just doing show screen 2, and you should be seeing my screen. Does everyone see it?
Yep, I do.
Awesome. Super excited. Okay, so before I start, I just want to put everyone on the same page, and if there's anything that I can pass down to everyone from all of the knowledge gained from years of experience of hacking and ranking keywords and then losing rank and then getting ranked back again, is that it's very important that you are in line with Google's mission statement, because Google is extremely devoted to their mission. And so if you're struggling to gain rank, it's likely because you're not in line with their mission. So with that said, I want to answer the question, how does Google think about SEO? And so in 1998, Google's mission was to organize the world's information, and they wanted to make it universally accessible. And so till that time, they've accomplished that mission. They've outgrown it. And so The Guardian, earlier this year, there was an interview with Larry Page and Sergey, and he said that Google has outgrown this mission statement. So that leaves me to the next question, which is, what is Google's current mission statement? And so in the past few years, Google has been making a lot of algorithmic updates. So what happened earlier this year is they coined a name for a major algorithmic update that's been already included within the engine. It's called Google rankbrain. So what is Google rankbrain? And more importantly, what does it mean for your business? So essentially, every query, every search that you put into Google, it goes through advanced machine learning functionality. So essentially, computers are optimizing their search functionality at Google machines without any input from the engineers. So in short, even the engineers at Google don't really understand how Google works. And the idea is that if you were just to take a step back right now and put yourself in a position of an expert. Maybe you have a subject matter that you're really passionate about. So for example, bodybuilding. So if you're really passionate about bodybuilding, as an expert, you have all of this different context. So if you were to start writing an article about bodybuilding, all that context, all of the phrases that are related to bodybuilding will be included in your article. You would say, well, in order for me to answer the question about bodybuilding, I need to talk about supplements, and I need to talk about macronutrients, etc. And so what RankBrain is trying to do is they're trying to gather the same context. So Google RankBrain is going around and they're analyzing the articles across all of the domains on the internet, and they're gathering that context. So when they reach your article, they're asking a really simple question, which is, if this article is the best at answering that particular question and solving the problem than anyone else on the internet. And if the answer is yes, RankBrain wants to rank your article. So today's mission from Google is to, and it's not official, but their new mission is to be the best at answering people's questions and solving their problem. So a lot of the traps that I fell victim to, a lot of the mistakes that I made in the past were that I always, in the beginning, tried to find the hack, try to find the loophole so I would gain the ranks in Google. And I was going against the grain, as I suggested, against Google's mission. And what happened was I would gain rank quickly, but then I would kill the domain and then I would lose rank. So as Carrie hinted on, SEO, when done properly, it's a long-term strategy. So if you think of SEO, search engine optimization, it's like the fuel that fuels your website. And your website is the engine. And so when you look at SEO, once you rank properly using the process that I'm going to outline in this video, you're always going to keep your rank. But when you do it improperly, you're going to lose it. With paid traffic, you always need to refuel. So when you buy ads, you're going to fuel your website, you're going to get traffic, and once you start paying, the fuel disappears. It's sort of like your car. But with SEO, the fuel is always there. It's organic, it's free, and that is the beauty of SEO. And I can't wait to start getting into this. I'm super excited as I talk about it. All right, so how do you do keyword research manually? So before SEMrush, when I first started, I started in middle school, and so SEMrush didn't exist. I remember when SEO Quake first came out. So I started doing keyword research manually, and it was a very intensive and slow process. I even started outsourcing some of these tasks that I'm going to get through, and then when I saw SEMrush, I just switched to SEMrush because I was spending so much effort and energy and money and resources to do this. But I want to show you the process nonetheless so you get more insight into the benefits and advantages of SEMrush. And if you want to do it manually, you can. It's a nightmare, but you could do it. All right, so for this example, I'm going to use an existing topic. So as you're listening to me, there's one question that I would like for you to ask before we go. And that question is, what are people searching for? So it's either an existing topic or a new topic. So an existing topic is like bodybuilding. People are seeking out this topic in Google. A new topic, for example, if you were to launch, let's say, a YouTube channel or a podcast or any type of show, and you would give that show a name, then that would be a unique name. There would be no competition for that keyword, that phrase that you invented. And so if you were to drop that name in an email or in Twitter or even on a podcast, if you're promoting your YouTube show, eventually, as your brand grows, people would start searching that name out. And what would happen is you would want to rank a specific page on your domain for that name. That's a new topic. What I'm going to be talking about in this webinar is existing topics, but if you have a new topic, then using the same methodologies that I described here, you can rank new topics. There's no competition, so it becomes extremely easy. So with that said, let's continue with bodybuilding. So how would you do it manually? So right now, you can go into Google, you could put in Google Keyword Planner, you could put in bodybuilding, and when you're inside Google Planner, you press the big Get Ideas button right here on the top, and you start getting keyword ideas. So right here, I got 436 keyword ideas. So these are all the keywords that are related to the word bodybuilding. So that's wonderful. So I take that, I export it into a CSV file or an Excel, and I keep that in what I call a master list of keywords. And after I create that master list, and we'll go into step 2. So the second, so when you're looking at the keyword planner, look at it as one source of keyword ideas. The other source is if you go to Google right now and you put in bodybuilding, on the bottom, you're going to see related terms that are related to bodybuilding. And so this is another keyword source. So Google is not necessarily including these terms that you see on the bottom of the engine right here. They're not including that in Google Keyword Planner. So you need to search through your keyword and copy and paste these words into that master document. One important note is if you see supplements is bolded, that means is what RankBrain and what Google is doing, they're saying supplements is semantically related to bodybuilding. These are words that we should look for in the article. So when you write a general article about bodybuilding, you should include the word supplements and maybe link out bodybuilding supplements to another article in your domain. So in order for you to become the best at answering people's questions, when you're trying to target a general word like bodybuilding, you need to address supplements. And so these terms are semantically related: workout routine, workouts, etc. It's very important, and this is how Google sees it. So that's another source. The other, so you would copy those, put them in the Excel, done, wonderful. The next one is the Google Suggest terms. And this is really powerful too, because if you go to Google and you put in bodybuilding and then you put in A, you're going to start seeing words pop up like arm workout, etc. And so what happens is you put in A, you put in B, you put in C, and you start compiling those words. And as soon as they're compiled, you log them into your Excel spreadsheet, and then finally, after you do this entire process, you have your master list of keywords. Well, that is a long process. I know, I've done it, I've outsourced it, and it's painful. But with SEO, go ahead.
I was just going to chime in and say it is really, really long. You'll be doing this for probably 20, 30 hours, depending on the website.
Yeah, if you have a large website with a lot of categories, I had all of these folders and it would just drive me crazy. All right, so with SEMrush, this process is a lot simpler because you have one source that outputs all of these keyword ideas. So let's do an example. So right here, I'm just going to go to my second monitor and drag over SEMrush like so. Hope everyone sees it.
I'm seeing it.
Awesome. And so right here in SEMrush, you see domain analytics and keyword analytics. So the distinction is if you're searching for a keyword like you would in Google, you would put in bodybuilding. And if you're searching for a domain name, then you would go into domain analytics. And I'm going to stick to keyword right now, and in just a minute, I'll show you the power of reverse engineering your actual competitors. So let me press the big search button. I'm in keyword analytics, and SEMrush is going to work. It's going to do its magic, and then it's going to spit out all this information specifically related to what we're talking about, phrase match. So right now, it's showing us all of the keywords in SEMrush, and we're analyzing over 100,000 domains, and we're spitting out 14,156 related keywords to the word bodybuilding. So my apologies, it's phrase match, which means bodybuilding is in the name, but there's a word before bodybuilding and after bodybuilding. So female bodybuilding, bodybuilding diet, bodybuilding is in the term. That's what phrase match is. It's just showing you terms that where bodybuilding's in the term, and it's showing you what's before and what's after. So you have 14,156 ideas.
This is great for targeting those long tail keywords that we were talking about. It will take you forever to find all of the different iterations of the long tail keywords that you could and should be targeting, and this just makes it a snap.
Exactly. And so now you also have the related keywords, and right here when I put in bodybuilding, I will see that I am getting a list of 3,241 keywords. So when you create this list, all you have to do is press this wonderful button, and it's going to export everything into an Excel file. And once you're in Excel, You can create filters, you can sort through them, you can copy and paste them. So this is a really convenient functionality, but as I go into it, you don't even need to export it in Excel. You could actually use the tool because this is a wonderful and easy to use interface. So the next way to do it is to use your competition. So we just did keywords, and you can do that manually. You can do that with SEMrush with a snap. Takes 5 minutes. Or you can do what is unavailable to do manually, is you can start using your competitors. So imagine for a moment that your competitors are doing all of this keyword research, and they created this authority domain, and this domain is structured, and you want to piggyback off of their success, and you want to see what keywords they're targeting, what keywords they're ranking for. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the term bodybuilding, not the term, the domain, bodybuilding.com, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in domain analytics, because I'm no longer interested in keywords. I'm interested in reverse engineering my competition. And so I'm just going to do that search right now, and I'm going to wait till the wonderful data appears. And then as soon as I do that, what you will see is you will see all of the keywords in domain analytics that that bodybuilding.com is ranking for. And so they're ranking for all of these words. And now you can simply export them in a CSV, and it's an immense amount of keywords. It's a website that's targeting bodybuilding, bodybuilding.com. So I can't even stress how valuable this data is from the standpoint of a marketer. I mean, I'm getting excited just by looking at it, and I'm in the tool every single day.
Well, my favorite thing is to just look at the graphs, and you can see exactly when your competition started investing in SEO strategy. It looks like around January 11th they did some stuff, and then really in January 2014 was when it started taking off. And you can see that big, beautiful, upward sloping graph, which you want to see for your website, but you don't want to see for your competition. So if you see that your competition has an upward sloping graph, they're probably making some SEO progress. And in order to remain competitive, get competitive, or beat the competition, you need to do better than they do.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. So that is the beauty of reverse engineering your domain. And so now let's get into ranking the competitiveness of the actual keywords. So you're like, okay, great, Paul. But once I make the list of these keywords, once I do my keyword research, once I export these CSV files, I'm in the tool, I have the list of keywords, how do I know if I could actually rank for them? I need to some way pinpoint if my domain, my business could rank for these keywords. So let's look at competitiveness specifically and how to determine how hard it is actually to get there in the SERPs. And Carrie hinted on that earlier. And so there's a very subjective way of doing it manually. And again, it's not very scientific because our brain is made out of meat, and it's very difficult to do what SEMrush is doing algorithmically. And so here's how I would do it in the past. It's not very scientific, but this is all I had. So I would make a list of my top competitors, and I would go in and I would search them out by keyword. So I would take the keyword that I'm targeting, the most competitive keyword, and then I would make a list of my competitors. And then when I look at that keyword, I would say, okay, so bodybuilding.com is ranking #1. That's an authoritative domain. That has a lot of trust. It's a big brand. So #2 is maybe Wikipedia. #3 is another website that I've never heard of, but it looks like there's a lot of really big brands ranking on the top positions, so I won't be able to rank there. And so that was sort of the very subjective criteria that I would use. Of course, we're going to get into SEMrush, where we give you a more accurate and specific assessment based on the vast amount of data that we actually collect. So the other criteria that I would use is is on-page SEO. So again, going back, a very important question is, with RankBrain, if you can become the best at answering people's questions, SEO is going to become easy. So what you need to do is when you click on the domain, you have to assess their actual article, their on-page SEO, to determine how they answered the question. Maybe they didn't really effectively answer the question, and you know what Google's mission is. So if you answer the question better than they did, you will rank higher than your competition. And this is so important because as soon as you start thinking like this, you're going to be in line with Google's mission. Google wants to rank you because you have the best answer to the question and solution to the person's problem. So again, I'm going to get into the criteria in just a bit. But before I do, here's what I would do. I would create a CSV file or an Excel file, and I'll create a little table, and I would say, okay, here I'm writing an article, let's say on six-pack abs, and that would be a category on my domain. So if you have a domain, you're like, okay, bodybuilding, let's create a subcategory for six-pack abs, and I'm going to create this category. I'm going to write this wonderful article answering people's questions around six-pack abs. So I would make a list of keywords. How long does it take to get a six-pack? At-home ab workouts. And these keywords are semantically linked and related to that article. So then I would try to rate the broadness of those keywords. So how long does it take to get a six-pack? It's very specific. At-home ab workouts is medium, and then there would be some broad terms. So right in this list, abs in 30 days, specific. I would rank them. Then I would need to determine the actual volume. So at the end of the day, when you're investing your time, your effort, your resources into actually writing content and answering people's questions, you want to make sure that people are actually seeking out these topics and these keywords because you want traffic, you want visitors, then you want prospects, then you want conversions. So I would make a list of these volumes next to the keyword, and that's available in SEMrush as I demonstrated. So the other column is the keyword difficulty. So before I go into that, one important note about volume is not accurate. So it's a ballpark figure that gives you an idea. So if you see an SEMrush a volume of 20, you're not going to get 1,000 searches. And so you would get in that general area, but at the same time, if you see 2,400, you might get 3,000, 4,000. So this gives you a general idea. So before you start investing time in writing great content to rank, you know how many visitors you will expect. And so the last column is keyword difficulty. And based on this subjective criteria that I just outlined, I would go through and I would determine if it's medium or easy, medium, or hard for me to rank for that keyword. So as Carrie hinted on it previously, the transactional keywords are sometimes more competitive than others because those are transactional keywords. People are ready to pull out their credit cards and buy. But these are also the keywords that you would be able to write an article about and answer a question about. It will be a lot easier because it's a more specific term, and those are the terms that you want. So imagine bodybuilding, you would need to provide a really good answer and link out to a lot of different related terms to answer the question effectively. But when you look at six-pack abs, that's really specific. You could answer that in one article. And so based on that criteria, I would rank them. So very subjective, not very scientific, probably made a lot of mistakes in this criteria. And so here comes SEMrush. So how would you do this in SEMrush? So in SEMrush, the way you would do this, it's very easy because the first thing that you can do is when you look at your competition, so if I go right here to competitors, right here, what you will see is if I put in bodybuilding.com, we're analyzing the top 100,000 domains in the industry, and we're saying that for this domain, bodybuilding.com, here's all their competitors, and we know muscle and fitness is a competitor because they have 101.1 thousand common keywords. And so these rankings are coming from the top 100,000 domains. So when I'm making a list of competitors within SEMrush, suddenly it's not very subjective. It's very scientific. More importantly, when I go into positions and I want to see exactly where my competitors are ranking, what I have right here is a beautiful number. And so this is available for both domain analytics and positions, or if you're searching by keyword, it's available in the keyword section as well, but you're looking at a keyword difficulty score. So suddenly you're no longer saying hard, easy, or medium, you're saying 90.53, because what SEMrush does is SEMrush has the ability to calculate the difficulty of a keyword, because we analyze the top domains that are ranking in the first 20 organic search results for any given particular keyword, and based on our own algorithms, SEMrush rank, we're able to calculate the domain strength and define the keyword difficulty. So algorithmically, all of a sudden, what you can do is you can come in and you can say that here's my keyword difficulty for all of the keywords. Here's this column. Now I could rank it very specifically, accurately, and effectively. I could say, how long does it take to get a six-pack? 78.26. So from 0 to 40, it could be easy. From 40 to 80, it could be medium. From 80 to 90, that last 10% could be hard. So what I would do is I would put in these specific ranks so I know exactly how difficult it would be for me to rank that keyword. And this gives me a much better idea and understanding. So we talked about how to rank the competitiveness of the actual keywords, and now I want to talk a little bit about structuring your article. So it's really important for you to become the best at answering people's questions, because if you can do that, SEO will become easy. And so the question is, how do you make sure that you are the best at answering people's questions? So the best way is to build a narrative, to build a story around your post. And the way that you build a narrative, there's a really good book by Joseph Campbell. I believe it's called Heroes of a Thousand Faces. He was the inspiration for Star Trek. Is you first want to identify the person's problem. So they're seeking out a solution. They're seeking out a question that you want to answer. So identify that question in the opening paragraph and talk about some of the struggles that you may be experiencing if you're an expert, or your client may be experiencing with this problem. So if you're selling a product, how is life without this product? Talk about that in the opening paragraph. And that would lead you into naturally talking about the solution, which is a step-by-step guide of how to actually solve that problem and answer the question. So right here, you would just list out step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It's very important to leave no stones unturned, like I said before, and to answer the question accurately and fully, because what happens is, and I'll get into this in just a minute, so the third thing is to exceed your visitors' expectations by giving something away to aid their journey. So at the end of the article, if I'm writing about bodybuilding and I'm talking about macronutrients and how many proteins and fats and fiber that you need in your diet, then what I want to do is I probably need to link out to something that could aid them in their journey, like a macronutrient calculator. So people have an easier time of calculating their macronutrients. So I could link out to an Excel spreadsheet. You can create an opt-in form on the bottom, and you could lead them into your email list. You could start building that email list, etc. So that's how I would structure your article. And so here's the article checklist. So you want to provide a complete answer. Okay, that is your first goal. Read the article. Don't think about sales. Just read it and just say, did I provide a complete answer? If I was to land on this, is it complete? Make sure it's actionable. All right, so step by step, list out exactly what to do. And this is very important, because what happens is if somebody searches out your topic and your keyword and they land on your page and they don't get the answer that they're looking for, and they go back and they search the same keyword again, what happens is Google is smart enough with rankbrain. They understand that they didn't get the solution to their problem on your page. They're seeking out your competition. So that's going to affect your ranking in the future. So you need to sit back and you have to marinate on your article and say, is this actionable? Is this a complete answer? And make sure you answer and address the initial question. So That's why broad terms are more difficult and specific terms are easier to write content for, because if you're ranking something that is general like bodybuilding, it helps to have already a list of articles on your domain so you can do what's called internal linking. So then you can say, I'm writing an article about bodybuilding, but I also have an article about supplements. I answer that question, and so you link out to that article from the bodybuilding article. And as I'm going to show you later on, once you start structuring your domain like this, as you start ranking the more specific terms, it's going to pull up all of the keywords, and I call this leveling up. And Carrie hinted on this with 10 times your content, and we're going to get into this. I'm super excited. And so the last thing is you want to hit all of the keywords in your keyword group. So you want to make sure that you're hitting all of these keywords when you're writing your article. Don't worry about keyword density. Just make sure you're hitting the keywords and make sure that you're answering people's question. All right. So we went through the checklist, and so right now we're just going to go into formatting tips. So this is very important. So at the end of the day, Google has a goal to answer people's questions, and they want to provide the best answer possible. And so when you're looking at your page, you're looking to format it for human beings, not machines. I think that's where a lot of SEOs fail, is because they're thinking about Google's algorithms and they're not thinking about people, and Google is thinking about people. So be in line with Google's mission. Create headings for your article, and we're going to get into a formula for that. Create breaks in between your content. Create a table of contents. So, for example, we went through structuring an article. If somebody doesn't want to read the problem and the struggle, if they just want to go down to the step-by-step, then make sure you create a table of contents so they could quickly get there just by reviewing your page. Have images, don't have just a wall of text. Create the breaks, create visual separations within your content so it's structured for human beings. If you do that, then Google will want to rank your content. And so the last thing is include internal links, because if you're looking at a very general word like bodybuilding, you need a lot of content to be able to answer the person's question. If you're looking at something very specific, you don't need as much content. So include those internal links, and I'll show you why this is powerful in just a bit. So headline tips. This is very important. So when you create your headline for your article, specifically, you want to address what you're answering in the headline, and you want to show the end result that your visitor will get. Here's what I mean. So here's the formula. End result that the customer wants plus a specific period of time. So if I was to write an article on how to get six-pack abs, in the article, in the title, I would put how to get six-pack abs in 30 days or get six-pack abs in 30 days using this. In your article, you're going to outline exactly what this is, which is your step-by-step guide, step-by-step workout plan. So when somebody searches out a specific question or a specific problem, this is going to improve your click-through rate. And once they click on that link in the search result, in the SERP, they're going to come to your article, and they're going to get exactly what they're looking for. Google likes that, and the human being, the person that is seeking out the solution to the problem, loves that as well. So you want to do this. It's very important. All right, Carrie hinted on this a bit with promotional tips as well. And so I'm just going to keep this broad because Carrie did a great job, and she's going to talk a lot about this in her mastermind, so stay tuned for that. And so as soon as you write your article, so you wrote this great piece of content, you're like, okay, Paul, I got this content, it's on my site, now how do I actually rank this? So the first important note that you need to understand is that the way that the Google robots work is Google bot goes to a website, and so if they see a hyperlink or a link, then that bot goes into that link. It's like a door that they open. The bot opens the door, and then it goes in it. So if a site is linking to your site, it opens the door, and then the bots go on your site. And so the Google bots, they're so intelligent that they visit the websites that update their content most frequently. So in the case of Facebook, for example, and Twitter, these websites, they're constantly adding content. It's almost instant, it's real time because people are tweeting all the time. So what I do is I make a link to my article, I post it to my social sphere, Facebook, Twitter, I email out to my audience if I have an email list, and then as soon as I do that, that gets the bots onto my article, and then they start, Google RankBrain comes on, and it's like, oh, did this person really answer their questions? And then did they do a better job than all of these other millions of domains in the system? And so that's how Google RankBrain works. And so the other point is find influencers in your market and ask them to share insight in an article. So Carrie did a really good job, and she talked about this. And so what I'm going to do is just really quickly just say there's a free tool called writerelevance.com. You come in here, you put in your subject, you find a subject matter expert. It's called influencer marketing. You find them and you contact them, and then you ask them to make a contribution to your article. And you ask them for quotes, maybe you ask them a question, and then once, like Carrie hinted on earlier, once you include that in your article, you have an opinion leader that made a contribution that is already recognized as an influencer in the eyes of Google, and you also incentivize them to share because they're included in the article, they'll be more willing to share. And so the last thing that I want to get into is leveling up your content. And this is of the utmost importance because right here in SEMrush, we have under organic research, right here, what you will see is I'm going to come right here, entire menu, and I'm going to see this position change report. And this is really powerful because what you will discover right now is that as soon as you start ranking for a keyword, so for example, I'm not going to bring up the table right now, or maybe I will while I'm here. So if you rank for how long does it take to get six-pack abs, which has a volume of 2,400, as soon as you position yourself on page 1 in this report, what you will find is, you will find when you put in your domain, you will see positions that start gaining rank. And so if you see that you're on the 3rd and 4th page, for example, for a more competitive term like best ab workouts for men, what you can do is you can go back, and I'm just going to do this really quickly by going through the slides. And you can go back right here, and I have the slide right here, is you can update your article. And the way you do that, you just go and you update the title. Now, I don't want to scare you with the snippet of code, but if you're using WordPress, there's a plugin called Yoast. And so any CMS that you're using, there's going to be a field there for the title that search engines see and a title that human beings see. And these titles, they don't have to be related. So when you go to Google and you put in your keyword, that big link that links you to the article, this is what this title is. When you get on the article, the title that you see visually is a different title. So what I would do is as soon as I look at this report and I see that keywords are starting to rank in that article, for example, how to get abs in a week, I immediately come back and I update the article with this keyword. That's what I do, and I specifically update the title tag, and what starts to happen, I start to level up, and I start ranking for how to get abs in a week. And as soon as I rank how to get abs in a week, I go and I continually look at this report, and I start ranking the other keywords, and eventually I take one article that was originally designed for one keyword, and I would rank them for my entire grouping of semantically related keywords that I discovered using SEMrush in the research process. So that's it for me.
Just to jump in, it's okay. I was going to say, just to jump in, the only way that you're going to be able to level up your content is if you know the keywords that you rank for and know the new keywords that you rank for and the keywords that you're losing position on. So once you know that information, you can make adjustments to your content to either gain those rankings back or bump yourself up in the rankings, which is what we're talking about. But again, in order for you to know what you should be doing that way, you have to stay on top of what keywords your website ranks for. And that rank change functionality in SEMrush is really helpful for that. Because again, you really want to be in the top 3 spots. And if you're on page 1, chances are you can make some adjustments to your content and end up taking that top spot yourself.
Exactly.
So here we are at the end. This is the code that you will use to get your free 30 days of SEMrush. And we're going to submit this into the chat box. So there's a little clickable link for you right there. There was a lot of information in this webinar, and there's a lot of detail and nuance to SEO in general. If you find yourself struggling through this, our upcoming mastermind group might be for you. So this mastermind group is a 4-month series of trainings, just like this one, where we take you through keyword research to content development, to how to post that content on your website the right way, to then again revamping the content so that it ranks higher. We'll hold your hand through the whole process, and the mastermind group is limited to 15 people. So you will get that one-on-one attention. There will be bi-weekly calls. There will be bi-weekly email check-ins on the weeks that we don't have the group calls, and there will also be some really awesome Facebook support. So if you're struggling with content, if you haven't been able to get your content off the ground, we do this for other companies all the time. We can help you through the process, and it's not that difficult. You just need to put in the work. It's $297 per month for 4 months, or if you want to pay all up front, it is $999. And we are going to be submitting that link to you, contentfact.com/mastermind, right now in the chat. And again, the slides are available for handout. I have uploaded them into GoToWebinar, and this recording will be sent to everyone tomorrow afternoon. But right now, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to open the field. Carrie, can you give us some insight into some of your top ranking pages or blog posts? Sure. Some of my favorite case studies come from TCF. We currently rank #1 for a variety of search terms related to the cost of social media marketing and the cost of web content writing. We also rank, I think we rank #1 for website content writers, website content writer, a ton of different keywords. Our website generates about $500,000 per year worth of organic traffic. And the way that we were able to get all of this traffic and get these pages to rank is because we put a lot of time into our content. Most of our blog posts are at least 2,000 words. It's in-depth content that Google likes to see. And when you think about it, it makes sense. You have to have a lot of words on the page if you're going to be able to work in all of the contextual keywords that Google's expecting to see. Also, you get more keywords and variations in longer content, and you can thoroughly answer the person's question and step-by-step guide them through, whatever process you're trying to walk them through. And we have just seen huge results from the content like that we post to the Content Factory's website. And we've been posting a lot of newer content lately too, all in the same vein. So check out our blog. I would highly recommend it. We update it frequently, lots of social media content and digital PR tips. Digital PR is a huge aspect of SEO, and we've gone into that in some of our previous webinars. But I would definitely recommend that you check out our blog. If you have any interest in particular subjects, let me know, and I can send you blog posts that I think would be a good fit for you. Do we have any other questions? Doesn't look like it. All right, Paul, I think we are going to end this one right on time. How about it?
Awesome. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. I hope you enjoy SEMrush and Carrie's wonderful workshop. I know it's going to be great, and she'll do a great job. She knows the subject matter in and out and answering all your questions. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And guys, please, please, please go check out, if you haven't already, SEMrush. I mean, if it were me, I would have already been on that site, checking out exactly which keywords my website ranks for, what the competition ranks for, and what keywords I want to steal from the competition. So thank you all for attending. I hope to see you in the mastermind group. We're going to have some really cool case studies come out of that, I think, and we will hold your hand and walk you through this entire process. So if you have any additional questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, I will catch you guys at the next webinar.
Awesome. Goodbye. Thank you. It was a pleasure.